Livesteam's got stuff.
Fantastic.
Twitch has got stuff. Yep, we're all through. We're coming through to everything.
Beautiful. It's working.
It's working. It's always nice when it works, isn't it?
I love it.
Good day, everyone on the Suffolk.
Skazz?
Welcome to episode 201 of the Ran Nerds podcast.
Mate. No. We've come through the other side.
I know. And now the long march to episode 300.
Yay! 300. Woo.
We'll get in about 4 years' time.
What are we going to do for 300? Let's prepare now so that we can be ready for the disappointment in 300.
We've done Korea. We couldn't do Chernobyl because of bloody Russia. Putin ruined all our plans.
Yeah, it's always the way.
International Space Station?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah. But knowing our luck, that'll have accidentally re-entered into orbit and burnt up by the time we get there.
Well, that's why I said let's prep now.
Yeah. Wherever we plan to go, we're going to be doing. So that gives us 4 years to sort the astronaut training out. I'll book us a session on the Vomit Comet.
Fantastic! I can't wait.
I'm not sure what you need to do to be an astronaut. You need to so you need to be fairly intelligent. You need to be very intelligent. You need to have good dexterity, quite fit, able to hold your breath for a long time in case things happen. But I think we tick all those boxes, Skazz.
Yeah. All four of those: peak physical condition, incredibly intelligent.
We may be able to squeeze through, and perhaps the Chinese space program.
No, mate, I think we're a lot too tall for that.
I think their standards are a bit. What do you think their capsules are usually short?
They'll be like, wait, you guys want to be Chinese astronauts? Well, we're not Chinese, clearly. I mean, we tower over you guys by about 5 feet.
But I like your food. I really like your food. I have your food nearly every week.
We have bastardized versions of Chinese food, so I'm practically Chinese, right?
Exactly.
Loads of the stuff in my house is made in China, so I'm practically Chinese, right?
Yeah. We actually say we live in predominantly Chinese-made properties.
So there you go.
Yeah, there you go. All hell, Pooh Bear. It's great.
You definitely ain't getting in now.
Things will change by then.
He says, his eyes are darting back and forward. He's like, oh no.
Damn it.
Well, who else has got a space program we might be able to borrow?
Well, we could have used Russia's in the past, but, not a good idea at the moment. Europe has a space program, but they are like America. They have things called standards, which is really annoying.
Yeah.
India.
What do they fire? Tennis balls into the sky?
No, they fire rockets. I mean, we used to own the country, so might be able to negotiate with that one.
Well, I don't know. Now that Queenie's gone, I don't know if we ain't really got a lot going on for us right now.
Yeah. Did you watch it?
No, I did not. I'm not very British.
No, I believe it or not, I watched near enough the entire thing. I was very surprised myself.
How did it go?
It was.
She didn't open up the lid and go, surprise.
No, it was very interesting. I mean, one thing the British are good at is pomp and circumstance. We are very good at putting on a show.
Yeah.
We are very good. I mean, their march bit, where they marched somewhere in London, that took bloody forever.
I'm sure they're somewhere in London. Jesus fucking Christ.
See, it was at Westminster, went to Windsor Castle. I had to go on Google Maps to find out where those two were in relation to each other. But Westminster was where she had her own the state funeral, then Windsor Castle where they have sort of the non-plebby funeral. So, but yeah, she got marched. It's amazing how I didn't realise how many different branches of the armed forces we had, and they marched themselves along, and it all went. Apart from one guy dropping his paperwork, it all went off without a hitch. It was very impressive.
No, sorry, he's got to go out the tower. Execution, right there.
Oh, he's not been since.
Oh, good.
He's not been since. It was the bishop of somewhere, but he dropped his paper before the cart in front of the coffin, had to pick it up, but he's not been since. So I'm assuming he's already dead.
Disappointment.
Or he's been shipped to Australia, one or the other.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's still a thing or not.
I was about to say, I'm sure we still do.
Yeah. We ship convicts, they send back bar staff. So
That's about right.
so yeah, so he's off to so yeah, he's gone, he's dead. But yeah, and I tell you what, I felt for the poor guys, the pallbearers, because the coffin is lead lined
Damn.
to keep it sealed.
That's
Yeah,
going to
and
be a
that's
hell of a. What were they like?
even
Were they all like 6'2", built like brick shit houses, like buff as fuck?
they're all the same height. They had to be the same height, I think, because otherwise they would be lifters. But there's like 8 of them. One, but they go up like a set of steps, and it's quite a steep angle. And I was watching, thinking, oh god, this is where they'll drop her.
Oh
This is where
mate,
it'll just but they had a guy behind holding it up. But I felt sorry for their poor shoulders.
mate, I'm telling you, like, were they triangle shaped? Were they like barbarians, like walking her up there?
No,
Because
no,
I
they
can't
weren't
think of many very in shape British people lifting that lead ass coffin.
Yeah, no, they were. Well, these are military people, so you know they're ones who actually have
Mate,
got some degree of fitness.
I know many a people in the fucking military. That does not mean they're in good shape.
Yeah,
They might have been
we're
when
not
they had to get through the door.
yeah, but these are like ones who might actually go fight. They're not the ones who go sit around submarines all day. So
I don't know. I don't know.
yeah, you know, admittedly, the submarine there's probably not a lot of space to get sort of fit.
I mean, you could do
You know, you're
some
sort of-
maybe.
You can't go swimming, can you? So
Fucking, you could try. What happened? Well, he wanted to go for a quick sloosh, and he opened the door.
So we put him in the old torpedo tube and set him out there.
And off he went, and that was the last we saw of him. I was like,
Yeah,
excellent.
excellent. Good.
Off to Australia you go.
Good. Yeah. Yeah. But that's where he's heading at the moment. He'll eventually, he's cutting the Gulf Stream. He'll get there eventually.
we were hoping that he was prepped for the old astronaut program, so he can hold his breath a really long time.
Yeah, yeah. The pressure is a bit of a problem because we were 100 feet under the water.
not
but
my
we think he
problem.
might make. Yeah,
It's not my problem. You said when he's in space, things might happen, so he needs to be able to hold his breath. I'm sure he can handle the crushing fucking pressures of the deep. All right.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's. Is it what? I think it's 1 atmosphere pressure for every 10 feet you go down. I think.
That's gonna suck.
Yeah, so that's like you basically being that's like being underneath something that weighs like 200 odd kilos, 200 pounds. Yeah, it's per square inch.
Yeah, that's fine. So what you're saying is it's just been sat on by an American fat bird. No,
Well, several of them.
no, you've clearly...
PSI per square inch.
No. You've not seen the average fat bird in heels these days. Have
I
you?
have, but honestly, you need lots of them.
Even Americans, I don't believe.
Oh
you.
yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, they're like the sort of like the terabytes of the sort of fat world, in terms of like, you know, whereas we're still in the gigabyte territory over here. But you know,
We're talking petters. We need petters to equate to that fucking.
yeah. So
Fair
have you?
enough.
So are you still Splatooning Skazz then?
Ugh. No. After 15 hours, today is the Splatfest. After 15 hours on launch day, I played a couple of hours since launch. I've done maybe an hour or so today for the Splatfest. I was like, I can't do this anymore.
No.
It hasn't changed enough. The levels still suck because the levels are still on a 2-set rotation. So you get 2 levels for the Splatfest, and then every like half hour or something, or every hour they rotate for another 2 levels. But if they're shit levels, they're shit levels, and you just have to play those same 2 maps over and over and over and over again. And it's just not ideal. That might take hours and hours and hours to get to a map that you actually like. And it seems like every time I've gone in for my rotation, it's been maps I don't like. So
This is the fundamental issue with any sort of sequel to a multiplayer game. If you don't change it, people are like, well, what's the point? I might as well play the old one. If you do change it, everyone goes, what the fuck are you doing? You changed the game.
well, the trouble is the maps aren't even particularly new either.
Yeah.
The maps that are there kind of suck, and we're waiting for some of the bigger, better, more exciting. These aren't fun, and Splatoon isn't known for solid weapon balance, but it's becoming very clear that some weapons you might as well just put in the bin if you want to actually play and be competitive. So No, I'll wait for some patches. I'll play for the Splatfest, but I don't see myself playing at the moment. Not too much.
You won't be dumping as many hours into this one as you did the previous ones.
No, I to be honest with you, I think it hasn't changed enough for it to warrant that extra time. To be fair, I played a lot of Splatoon 1. I played a lot of Splatoon 2. I played, as I said, I played through the entire story of Splatoon 3, the entire story mode, one sitting, no problem. That was alright. The end boss was shite, but the levels were okay. But no, just the competitive mode just isn't as fun. They have done some nice quality of life stuff, but the balance is still shite, in my opinion. So maybe if I get some more gear, level up my guns and that, maybe it'll be a bit more fun. But right now as well, trying to get a hold of a group of your actual mates, and the servers are being hammered right now too. So every 15 seconds you get booted from a match. So not ideal.
No. I suppose the other issue is, what will drive people to Splatoon 3 is the fact that the Splatoon 2 won't be getting, it's unlikely to get any more updates or anything anymore, and eventually will be switched off.
Yeah.
So if you enjoy Splatooning, this is your only option really, is to switch over.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was one of the, I think it might actually be the fastest selling Nintendo Switch game in Japan ever.
I believe you're right. I believe I saw that. And I believe I saw.
So it's doing well, just, I don't know. Or it might just be, like I said, it's just because I've played so much of the other two. It is still a good game. I still recommend people playing it, but I've really, I'll tell you what, Nintendo, fix your fucking servers and we'll talk. Fix the servers for online play and we'll talk. They are dog shit. You get disconnected constantly. Fucking ping is all over the place. So all of a sudden you miss someone, they die. Someone misses you, you die. It's like, how did they kill me so fast? They missed majority of the shots, but it was still registering them as hits on the service. Just no.
Yeah.
And every time someone disconnects from the match, everyone gets disconnected from the match. Matchmaking today has been taking nearly 2 or 3 minutes per match to get into a match, and a match is only 2 or 3 minutes to go. So there's a lot of downtime.
I suppose also it's okay. I suppose a part of that is the fact that obviously, if it has become like the biggest selling game ever, that they probably didn't estimate it was going to be that big, so they're now probably scrambling to get servers online.
I think it might actually be peer-to-peer,
Really?
Yeah, I don't think Nintendo are all that into investing in their online stuff at all. I mean, they're using jank delay-based netcode in most stuff. It's fucking atrocious. The stuff that we're paying for Nintendo Online is the exact same stuff that was free for the first year of the Nintendo Switch release. They haven't changed it at all. At all. You're just paying for it now. They give you some NES games or some Super Nintendo games or some shit like that. It's like, what else do I get? Server-side stability would be nice. Decent netcode would be nice. Nintendo not shitting over everyone when they try and play the games online would be nice. Give us a tournament mode. Give us ladders built into the game. But they don't do any of that. So they've done the absolute bare minimum yet again to get a game online. It is fun, but just it could be better. It could be so much better.
Oh well.
Yeah.
Well, I'm playing something fun.
Are you? You better
Yes.
carry this, man, because I've done nothing.
Well, we're going to get to talk about Nictopia 6.
Oh, God.
In the game, Timberborn.
Now, I got an advertisement for that in Steam recently. Like, that was on sale or something.
Yeah, I know you did, because I saw it got added to your wish list about 2 days after I started playing. It got added to your wish list.
Oh, there you
So
go.
yeah. So I thought, has he seen me playing it on, or has it been popped up on his Steam thing and told
I
him?
didn't even look at it. I just, like any game it recommends to me. I'm like, oh yeah, I'll just add that to my wish list, and if it goes on sale, I'll pick it up.
And this is why you got many games you hate.
Yeah, that's that. Yeah, that could be the case. I mean, my wish list is almost as big as my Steam library at this point.
Fucking hell.
I think if you combine the two, it's about 3,000 games.
Oh, fucking hell.
Hey, I'm working my way through them. I've got a Steam Deck now.
Yeah. Gradually, slowly but surely.
Yeah.
So Timberborn, it's a city building game sort of, but it's set in the far future after humanity is long since gone. We've gone extinct. We killed ourselves off. We've boiled half the water off the planet because they actually make reference to the fact that there's only that the planet's only covered in a third of water. So we've boiled away half of it. We've basically killed ourselves out. So the game is set when a new civilization starts to come by, and this civilization is beavers. The beavers. Fucking beavers have turned. That's the Timberborn beavers. And they have risen up.
Not who I thought would take our place, but
who are you banking on?
Cockroaches.
Okay, yeah. I think cockroaches are too simple. I think rats have got a good chance of taking over.
I like rats. Rats are cool.
Yeah.
I mean, in fairness,
that's mainly because I like Skaven.
Yeah. They should take over. They're really cute. Even when they're trying to eat your face, they're really cute.
I was told how the sheep have took over on the farm.
Oh wow!
We had some sheep. In one of our pack, which we were behind a fence. And they kept breaking out of said fence, so we put behind a stronger fence, and they kept getting out. We kept chasing them back in. I went up there the other day, and there's gates across the driveway. I drove in, and I said, "Why are the gates across the driveway?" And he goes, "The sheep I've given up trying to keep in. They can do what they want." So they said they get out. They know where they're going. They know other places. The fence stops them to go in the road. So basically, yeah, the sheep have successfully overthrown the farm at the moment. So we're waiting for the animal farm situation to start building up at the moment. Luckily, the pigs haven't got there yet, so we're alright at the moment.
Not yet.
Not yet.
That just reminds me of every time I think of Animal Farm, I just think of Tooth and Tail.
Yes,
I never finished that. I never finished it.
Nor did I.
It's a great game, but I never finished it.
Very good game. Very difficult game, I found, but I might have the mind for it.
Well, then we're definitely not getting into that space program, are we? Could you imagine that prerequisite, complete Tooth and Tail?
Yeah. Well, it's your toughest challenge yet. You've shown that you can rebuild Hubble Space Telescope blindfolded. Well done, you got that one. You've completed like 4D international maths quiz. Yeah, good. Now, load up Steam. What? Get Steam up, right?
Oh, they must be going for Kerbal Space Program. We can handle that.
Yeah. Wait, it is like load up Tooth and Tail. Huh?
What?
What? Right, you have 10 hours to complete it. Ah!
Well, we're done.
Yeah. So anyway, back to Timberborn. So Timberborn, so you're basically a society of beavers, and it's basically you have your little beaver colony. You start off with one little place, and you have to basically build a little colony. I think you start with like 10 beavers. I think you start with. I want to say maybe less than that, maybe not less than that. And you have to basically build the levels aren't they're pre-done levels, but you have to basically build obviously infrastructure. So you build like water pumps to pump water from the local rivers. Because the sort of like the one of its sort of big sort of twists of the game is that droughts happen fairly regularly, and
because we fucked up the water. These are incredibly intelligent beavers. Do any of them wear lab coats?
But yes, you can have beavers do beaver silence. So these are basically evolved beavers. They're like they are they still run around on 4 legs when they need to, but they are intelligent now. They can
but they'd
build
have to
things.
wash their hands so much.
Oh, you can put them showers in for them.
But if they'd have to wash their hands more than if they were in like COVID times. You'd have thought they'd have figured that out.
They have probably. They've probably got sinks everywhere.
Okay.
Okay,
I'll go with it.
Yeah, go with it. Just go with it. So you have to sort it out. So every so often, a drought will happen. You'll get given a free game day warning, as it were, of when the drought's going to occur.
Yeah.
And when drought starts, it will last between 2 and 9 days.
Okay.
So you have got to make sure that you have got enough water to keep your beavers alive. All the water sources, all the rivers and stuff will actually dry up. It has like water, sort of like emitters that sort of like send the water, like your water source that flow through. Then that basically shuts off. The water naturally evaporates and dries up. So every river and stuff will eventually dry up. Now anything nearby, as water passes through an area, it will like irrigate all the surrounding area.
Okay.
So all your plants and stuff nearby will be fine, but also when it dries up, they start to die off because there's no water for them. You can build irrigation systems for them to keep them going, but also that's eating your precious water supply up. So water is very important in this game, and planning for it, and it's got a lot of stuff in the way to build dams and stuff. You know, being beavers, dam building goes with the territory, and you can build dams and stuff to protect them. So I was obviously for the tutorial the first time, and it's all taught me through how to solve water. I've got all that set up; it was fine. Separate through farm, so farming's interesting. There's several ways to do it. So you've got like natural resources, which is like berries and stuff like that, and they're picked by gatherers. And gatherers will go and pick it all up and take the things down, and they'll go back and replant when they grow. And you basically do this by setting a gatherer flag down on the map, and anything within a range, what they'll go to. That actually brings one to a brief side into how the cities work. Is every city has a range, like an area of effect you can go in, but you can extend it by building paths. And so building a path out basically it creates like an area of usable working area you can go to, but the path isn't as the crow flies, it's the actual length of the path. So a straight line can go a long distance, you can build a long way in one direction, fine, but if you need to go around, say, like a mountain, that path, because it wiggles its way round, it uses up a lot of space. So distance wise you can't build very far, but like as the crow flies, but actual path distance is also the same. So you have to plan about how you route stuff through. You may have to like build shortcuts in to allow your beavers get there and to allow you to build stuff. That does create frustrations where literally you're like just a fraction out of range to build something. So you might have to like rebuild a whole new path just to get there, just to sort of like get in range of it. But overall it works fairly well. So you build obviously these gather flags, they gather and so forth. You also build lumberjack flags, and these guys will cut trees and stuff down. What you then need to start doing is, if you want to like build more trees, trees will somewhat regrow, but they won't grow unless it's actively worked on. Eventually, you'll come down, they won't grow at all. Because if you cut a tree down, its roots ain't going to regrow. So you have to build like a lumberjack or tower, and they can plant more trees, they can plant bushes and other crops. You have to build farms. Farms will both harvest and plant, so they like combine the two. So you can build a couple of farms, and they'll then do your crops for you. One thing I have found with farms is actually one farm, the area it can cover, it can only have 2 workers. And those workers cannot cope with the area they cover. They cannot get it quick enough. They can't do it. So you end up with just half the farm not being done, nothing happening to it. So basically, just put a couple of farms next to each other, so they both cover the same area, and then you can have 4 workers covering the same area and doing the work, and then you get it actually farms putting crops.
Okay.
So I started, building my farms, building a thing, made it for my first drought. Really pleased with that.
Congratulations.
Start building this. I then started building some lodges. And lodges is basically 2 beavers can go. It's lots of space for 3 beavers, but how it works is 2 will go in, and 2 will have fun, and then a 3rd beaver appears.
Ah.
Yeah.
The stalker arrives.
Yeah. Yes, indeed. You can also buy. You can also make like a single lodge that only has space for 1 beaver to live into, so no hanky panky happens.
That's called misery. No, it isn't actually. That's called happiness.
Trust me. Those single lodges become very important, as I discovered later. So I started expanding. All was going well. I made for my first drought. Unlocked some new tech. I set up an inventor who basically generates science tech. So all your upper upgrades done by basically generating science points, which they do every few seconds and so forth, and then you unlock better tech. So I put an inventor down, got a few more beavers in, let the beavers breed a bit, got a few more in, started to expand. I got to the stage, eventually, as you grow through the tech, and there's lots of things you can unlock. You can unlock sort of like tech about how you can go places like you can unlock like levees, which are basically like solid structures. You can unlock like platforms that you can like build across paths. So you can like go multi-tier really easily. You can literally stack up incredibly high because you build like these like platforms and they stack on top of each other.
Sure.
So you can build up, which is quite neat actually. Not something you see a lot on TV, which notice this. There's actually a lot of verticality, which is really nice. So I got to a stage where I wanted to start. I needed metal. So metal comes from old human ruins. Basically the remains of like cities and stuff, and there's just old structure remains, all from mines. Mines are an infinite source of metal. As long as you put resources in, you'll get resources out. The ruins themselves get basically harvested.
Okay.
So I wanted to get some metal. So I found top of the map from where I am a big area of metal. Downside is there's no water there at all. It is dry. Even when the water's flowing, it is just dirt dry. So whatever goes there needs my support. Now, as I said earlier, Timberborn, your city basically has a range. They call these districts, and they have a limited range of how far they go. So you have to build a new district, which is like a self-contained unit. And basically you build it, and then you have to move beavers over to it. It's called migration, and you migrate beavers over to it, and they'll then go live in that district. It's its own self-contained little bit. So I build a district in the metal district. Now obviously I need to supply it. So supplying is a bit of a faff, if I'm honest. I think they need to rework the supply system. How you have to do it, you have to build a supply post, and in the receiving place you have to put a supply drop-off. And then for the supply post, you basically can create routes and say, right, go to this drop-off and take this. And you select which drop-off you want to go to, and you say, well, you tell them what you want to take. So, for example, water, carrots, logs. Your logs, water, and carrots are like your basic free resources, because carrots grow fucking quick. It's really good for food. Logs, nearly all beaver tech is based on logs and requires it, or it's based on things like planks, which is made from logs. So logs on its actual resources bar, logs is its own bit all by itself because it's so important. And water obviously is very important because the beavers die. So I created Metal District. And Metal District, I basically knew I was going to have to fully supply it. They would not be able to survive by themselves. So I was having to constantly make sure the routes set up to supply it. All was going well. I made a few more droughts. All was going well. So I get some metal being brought down. All was going nicely. And then we get to cycle 13. So the game is split into days and cycles. And cycles every 3 weeks.
Okay.
So I get to cycle 9. At this point, my beavers have bred so much, I've suddenly realised they only just collecting enough water to keep what I've got alive.
Yeah, I thought this was what was going to happen.
Yeah, and they're showing of food, and I'm thinking, shit. And then the drought starts to come. It's like, shit, build more water hole pumpy things to pump what water we get. And so the drought hits. At this point, I've got about 60, 70 beavers. And the drought hits. And I've got these, and I'm just watching as every beaver's got an icon above their head saying, I'm hungry and I've got no water. And all the water stops, so I've got no water supply at all. And I was like, shit, I'm fucked. I'm just watching them all down. Now, obviously, the good news is, as beavers die, less water's required. So, it starts to balance out.
Fucking hell, mate. Rock on, Chairman Mao.
Oh, wait, it gets worse. And then, we end up getting down to about... my population goes about 70 to 18, which is a real population crash. Also a proper issue, because all my main resources, basically, everything shuts off. What I didn't think about... doing this whole time while I was trying to rebuild everything again was one place that lost all its workers was the distribution center.
Oh.
So I'm like thinking, okay, well, I started getting like this all water coming in. We're getting positive pros, water's going out, food's going. Oh, good, we're making progress. We're getting positive rate now. Rather than watching the food like go from like 0, 3 or 4, then back to 0 again, it's actually starting to go up now. Let's go check on the Mel District. Go to the Mel District, population Mel District. Click on it. Population 0.
Population -5.
It's like, oh shit, I forgot about you guys. You guys rely totally on these guys to keep you alive.
And they all died. Now we're going to need to send you 5 extra beavers to clean up all the corpses before we can move other people in.
Well, I saw slip back down to the main base. It's like, my great population. Let's send 3 or 4 back to the Mel District now. There's another crash in cycle 12 and another crash in cycle 13. So I'm gradually increasing my food supply. Every time the Mel District is dead, any beaver I send there is guaranteed a death sentence, unfortunately. It's like, unless I remember to bring them back, they're dead. So every time I send a 3 or 4 across, I make a point not sending children, but as soon as children grow up, they're fair game. So this starts to sort of be a real problem. Oh, but guess what? So I think, right, okay, what do I need to do? Right, so food, I'm starting to get on top of. Water's my biggest issue.
Uh-huh.
So a bit further down from where my main base is, it's like, imagine it's like a river that runs past my base, or through my base at this point, because I've got stuff on both sides. And there's like a mountain area where the hills are really tall, either side. I thought to myself, they're really tall. I could dam that. If I then, but the other side's all open as well, so I need to build a dam all the way around it. If I did that, I'd basically get a huge mass of water kept in there, and dam stuff, water tends to hang around. So that would basically solve my water problems. So I opened up the next district, currently called the Dam District. So, dam stuff, your main sort of things to build dams, you've got levees, which are basically just a solid block. It's basically, I should say, the game is based, the whole sort of terrain is based on like blocks. So
Okay.
it's voxel-based terrain, so it's all blocks, and everything takes up block spaces. So a levee is just a single solid block. Blocks water, you can build dams with it. You also have dams, which are basically a levee that's got like an open bit, so they allow an overspill. So they're great in rivers and stuff, because basically it means the river's self-regulating. If you put it across the end of the... So I did actually put some across the end of a river, which made it self-regulating, so as the water got high enough went over, but then when it stopped, it still kept the water in, so I didn't lose it all. But you can't build very super high. You can also build floodgates, which can be up to 3 meters tall, which is basically like 3 blocks. And these obviously allow you to drop down. So you build the dam, put floodgates at one end, let down fill it with water. As I need more water in the rest of the base, I can lower the floodgates a bit, let some water through, raise them up, lower them down, and just gradually lower them slightly short every time to let water through. Obviously, dam districts can take a long time to build this dam, so but they've also got lots of food there, which is really handy. So I basically set up like another group gathering. I basically try and make dam district as self-sufficient as possible. So I've got pumps there, I've got food gatherers there, and I've learnt my lesson somewhat now. I've paused the shagging buildings, so no more breeding's going on. So I'm controlling the breeding. So I've paused them. So to try and prevent the population, because basically what happened was the population was going really high. Everybody dies of dehydration, apart from a few, and goes to really low, but I've got no workers. Then it goes high again, so I basically paused the build to stop that happening, to try and prevent the population exploding again. So dam just starts to take shape. This takes a long time. It's a big old dam. I'm very proud of my dam, but it's a big old dam. Took about sort of 2 real drought periods to get the dam built, but finally we get the dam built. At this point, breeding's going on and so forth, and I'm still having some issues with droughts and water supply. I've also got this issue where now getting homeless beavers because I ain't got enough buildings. Because Mel District is burning through the beavers fairly quickly, I start sending the homeless ones to Mel District. At that point, I realised I built a gulag.
Yeah.
I thought, shit, yeah. I'm sending all the undesirable homeless beavers to go to Mel District where they'll work a hard life with metal, which beavers don't like particularly, and then they die. I thought, why is it whenever I do these games, Skazz, that I start off with such good intentions? I start with such good intentions, but within about a few hours, I turn to Stalin.
Yeah, I was going to say, fucking GG, comrade.
I was like, I'm such a terrible person. This is why I should never get into power, because if I got in charge of the country, I would somehow starve half of it within a month.
Hey, that's fine. We need to knock back them numbers, man.
Yeah.
So, I mean, at the rate the current government's going, that'll probably be like that anyway, but...
Yeah. So, Mel District was sort of doing its own thing, and I found the way to do districts is to sort of specialise them. Game doing one thing specifically. There's no point making them replica, so I've got my main village, Nictopia 6. That's my main place, and that's sort of a bit of everything. It's basically, but it's also trying where the most beavers live. You've got wood there, you've got industrial. Obviously, that's what I sort of expanded first. I put my industrial units in, so worth talking about industry as well. Your power sources come from like 3 main places. You've got 4 main places. You've got basic. You could build a water wheel. which as long as water's flowing, it'll give you power, but not very much. You could build a hamster wheel, which your beavers will go in and run around in, and that will generate power. Not very much. Or you can build windmills, and windmills give you quite a bit of power, but only when the wind's blowing. And they also they're not an off or on thing. They are depending on how fast the wind's going. So I'd start building up a industrial area which was producing planks. I was producing paper, which I was then able to make into explosives, which I could do some terraforming with, blowing up chunks of land. I could also set up like a mill to mill wheat, which can make bread, and all sorts of lovely little things like that. So basically making a little like production line going on. So main village has got a bit of everything. It's got farms, it's got logging, it's got industry, it's got power production, bit of everything.
It's got Gulag.
No, that's Mel District. Mel District is the Gulag. Okay, Mel District has a campfire, or had at this point a campfire, some buildings to live in, and just a warehouse to put the Mel. That was Mel District. Oh, and some places also to store water and so forth. But that was Mel District.
There's a place to bury the dead beavers.
Yeah, that was Mel District. Yeah, Mel District wasn't a happy place. And it's quite a long way from the actual mine stuff. So they've got quite a long walk to get to their sort of like main place. They literally go off like half a mile to get to where the metal collection is, and then have to bring it all back. It's not a pleasant place to live, if I'm honest, Mel District. So Dam District then got built next, and that's called Dam because it's where the dam is. And that had some natural resources or berries and stuff. They go quite quickly. So I basically planted those. So Dam District is predominantly berries. And obviously the dam is there. They've also got some minor power. They've now got to the stage where they've got a powered pump, which is can pump water in, and that pumps a natural like reservoir bit. And I basically have built like a little aquifer that takes water to like another holding area. So Dam's got more water now than it was. It's really water heavy, Dam District. So after Dam District, I then was getting an issue where my beavers were getting sick. They weren't, and they couldn't get healed.
Dead
They
District.
were healed eventually. No, next district was Healing District.
What kind of fucking cult are you cooking up here, son?
So to create medicine, you need dandelions.
Yes.
So Healing District, sole thing Healing District did was, first of all, it was right next to the river, which is like the main river that flows into my dam, but it's quite high up.
Healing
and I have
District
this
was right next to a Metal District.
No, it's just the opposite side of Down District, but it's right next to the river. So what I did was I had some explosives. So I built like a little channel and blew it out and basically filled a section of that area up with water. So there's a good water source there. And I've basically filled it with dandelions and basically set up medical centres and set up transportation loops to transport the medicine back to the main bases. So the Healing District was making all my medicine, and they make all the medicine for the beavers. So that's what they do. Healing District is a lovely place. It is really nice. It's not got too many people there. It's got quite nice buildings. It builds up nice and high, so you've got a lovely view. You've got a massive source of water, and you've got dandelions everywhere. There's no heavy industry there. It's a really nice place, Healing District. I'd live in Healing District if I could choose where. If I was a beaver and could choose where to live, I'd live in Healing District.
It's a hippie commune.
Yeah. Downside is there's no where you can breed. So you're there. You do live by yourself.
Oh mate,
and then
that's
eventually
great.
you die.
No, that's great.
Yeah. So Healing District is doing that sort of job. That works well. Now I've got plenty of medicine. I have rediverted some Healing District to forestry.
Okay.
So it's building trees up. Also, there's like where the sort of mountain was quite tall nearby. I wanted it a flattened area so I get more space. So I have been basically shipping loads of explosives, and I've been gradually blowing up this mountain, gradually down to a nice flat level, so I can grow stuff on it. So
Yep.
yeah. So after this here, I said I worked on Dash and built that aquifer. I also, and this is where I am now, I've cut through the soil from Dam District, and I've cut it all the way up to Mel District, and I've built another little reservoir up there. Mel District now has a source of water.
About fucking time.
And it's very important, there is a problem with the source of water. The source of water is entirely dependent on me, A, remembering to open up the floodgate, and B, remembering to use the pump, switch on the pump that pumps water into the aquifer, which fills up another reservoir, which then overflows into Mel District's reservoir. And several times I've forgotten about this, and I've gone back and found half Mel District flooded because it's overflowing the reservoir. And flood water takes fucking forever to go away.
Yes.
So yeah. And also, if I'm not careful, if I forget to switch off, if I don't switch off mail, eventually, see, mail district it has one advantage: is it acts as an overflow for dam districts. Dam district can't get flooded. So, because otherwise, if mail district wasn't getting flooded, then it would have fed back to dam district. Dam district would have got flooded, which would have been more disaster because that would have killed all the crops. Mail district, there's only soil, so there's nothing we can really do. Not really a major problem, apart from several beavers get took out of their
Yeah, I was
home.
going to say, other than the dead beavers, but hey,
Oh no,
whatever.
beavers are alright with water because they're beavers. They think they swim. My beavers will walk down the steps right to the bottom of my dam, about 5 meters down, to plant explosives. They're not bothered by the whole thing.
They're like, oh shit, mate, look at all that water coming at us. Ah, that's fine, we're beavers.
We're beavers, yeah. We don't mind. In fact, beavers having their fur wet is very important to their happiness. So of course, beavers have a happiness rating. When we were going through the various cycles of drought and so forth, it's about -10, I think, something like
Murder.
that. Yeah. So Mel District has now got a water supply. That's great. I have expanded. I've now got a new district being built, and as progress, which was a process today called Power District. Power District has got loads of windmills. I've also the windmills I had over in Dam District. I've actually connected up through a set of platforms, almost like a power line, because you can basically move power from your windmills via these like logs that basically are power transfer logs, and that allows you to connect things up. And you've got your usual straight, left, right, straight, right angle turn. You can do any direction. You've got freeway and four-way, so everything you need. And I've basically built like a link between both sets of power networks. So now all the power is connected up. So my power network can potentially go up to like 3,000 odd horsepower.
I'm curious as to why you haven't been streaming this.
Oh well, because I forget to stream things.
Nicktopia's Adventures to Tesla Town.
Yeah,
clean energy for all.
Yeah, I have got to the stage now where if I have to scroll across the screen, it does lag. I'm okay if I'm stopped. Everyone's fine. And if I angle the camera really low so I can see across all of Nicktopia, everything starts to stutter a little bit. I feel my food too much. I might be getting a little bit too big.
Are we talking? Is that a RAM issue or a processor issue? Or?
I don't know. I think it's just got so much because I've now got like 160 odd beavers. And they all have their own wants and needs, and they have their own little routines and so forth.
Sure.
There's lots of things that's having to perform ticks on every turn, every cycle to logic has to happen. So I think that's just pretty important because the water physics are quite neat. I mean, the water will, for example, if you open up a dam, like a floodgate on a dam, the water will come out, but it will as it goes into a gap, it will sort of create like a sort of bow wave ahead of it.
Mm-hmm.
So if you shut the dam off, the water will go in. It will actually slosh over the thing. So actually, even though it's not enough water for you to do it, because it can slosh over, it can go over and actually either flood somewhere or go through a dam. Mm-hmm. Which means you have to be a bit controlled. You can't just open all the floodgates up for a couple of seconds to put it up. You'll put a huge amount of water out, and that will just go everywhere and create a massive mess. So you have to be slightly careful with how much water you send out. The water physics are pretty good actually. They're good enough for what the game needs, but they are. You do have to sort of manage it. That's probably that sort of that stage where there are a lot of the game is you convert it. Basically, once you set it up, it's sort of automated, like you're gathering your food and so forth. But definitely doing the droughts, water control, like dams and stuff, is all down to you. You have to really sort of manage it and so forth. So pretty much when a drought starts, I'm literally sort of fixed on checking all the different water levels because you build water, how much water's in any area, height wise, so you know roughly how much water when to open the dams up and managing turning dams on and off. I push the pumps on and off and just manage. I spend my time managing the drought and so forth. It is an utterly fun game. I didn't think I was going to get into it as much as I did. I thought that looks interesting. I thought I'd probably get first, and I've put nearly 32 hours on it.
So, what made you pick it up? What?
I had a couple of things. A friend had told me about it ages ago, and he said, "Oh, it's quite good fun and so forth." And
I didn't realise it was that old.
Came out a couple of years ago, I think.
Really?
Yeah, it's still in early access.
Oh, okay.
But it's fair. It's early access, but what's in there is quite polished.
Okay.
Nothing jumps out as oh, they clearly do some more work on this. It feels quite sort of, it looks like one of the people who they're adding stuff to it, but what comes out is good when it comes out. They've just recently added golems into it, so you can now build golems who will actually do work but don't require any resources apart from recharging. So I haven't done anything with the golems yet. Of course, my next dish I'm building is going to become. I'm going to start producing biofuel. So you can produce biofuel from like potatoes and stuff. So I'm actually building up this district. So eventually, it'll be producing biofuel, which I'm then hoping because I can then use to run when the lulls in power, like the wind turbines, the wind drops. There's no power in the system. These will be able to be used as an alternative power source. Is what I'm hoping eventually to do.
Mm-hmm.
But it's fairly polished what it is. It's still there. You've still got the old early access, especially when you load it up. But it's so fun. It's enough complication that it's fun, but not so much your brain overloads. I just don't know what to do.
I get that.
Yeah. I found that the city skylines have got to points where like I don't know how to fix this, or I was like, I've either not had enough cider or too much cider to be able to fix this.
Yeah, you've not quite found the cider zone.
So no, I've not found the cider zone for it. But this one's sort of like just the right level for that and so forth. I would like things to be one thing I really would like and this is such a simple request, is I want a stair that goes right at right angle. So at the moment you've got stairs that only go straight.
All right.
So it makes it hard. We need to like build like multi-stories. You need to have quite a bit of space. You need to have like one space at the bottom of the stair, then the stair, then a space at the top. Then you also got a space to get off that platform. Then another space to get to another stair.
Yeah.
I want a stair that just does a 9-degree turn, so I can either left or right, so I can go upstairs. So they can go up and turn to the right, just a bit more compact. What I really would like though is some stats. Like you've got some basic stats, but I want stuff like this is your main village, is got this many beavers in, it's consuming this much water, this much food. Because I actually have no idea how much food I need per day to feed my beavers. So it's basically just a bit of guesswork, working out how much to put down, and like, oh, that looks about right. Oh shit, it wasn't about right. Now they're all dying again. Because you occasionally caught out like that. So Dam District, which seemed to be running fine, all of a sudden I go and all the beavers are starving to death. I was like, well, how did that happen? And I've had to sit and now to like redirect all like main village has now been redirecting stuff back to Dam District to fill up and give them more food and stuff, which is quite a slow process. That's I think the thing. The way I'm moving stuff between districts is very, very slow. It's very awkward. It's quite a faff to do. I almost want it to, rather than having to like click on the distribution center, click on where it's got to go, I want to send this much. I almost want to have a screen that's like, okay, like you can with migrating beavers from place to place. Okay, I want to send these many resources to that place. I want it on a continuous loop, or I want to send this many, and so forth. And the game just works. The game can say, okay, you've got 2 distribution centers, so you can have 10 routes. Tell me where you want to go. Tell me what you want to send. I'll figure it out for you. I'll do that for you. You don't have to sit there and micromanage everything, because that is such a faff to do.
Yeah, sure.
I also want the option to say, I want to send like a single. I want to say, okay, I want you to send a single supply there. I want you to send. We've got a project. We need 50 cogs. Take 50 cogs there, and then that's it. You're done. Or 50 gears. Sorry, they're not cogs. They're gears. 50 gears there, and you're done. That's all I want you to do. I want that more thing. I mean, also, I've got to be a little bit fair. It's still an early access. I can't be too unfair to it.
It's still adding stuff on as they go. So the things you want might actually be in the pipeline.
Yes. I would like things like perhaps be nice. You could perhaps build carts and stuff, so that you'll be able to take carts with them there and so forth, and so can transport more stuff with them, because they do get a bonus speed thing. I wouldn't be surprised if eventually you'll have things like where you'll be able to perhaps build like trains or something to move from place to place to place. It is honestly, it's that sort of game where it's like, oh, I can't wait to finish doing this and go play with my beavers, or I can't wait to get home and load up the game, play with more of the beavers, or it's only like 8:30. I can get a couple hours with my beavers in before I go to bed.
What
and
are the
then
system requirements on it then?
Let me have a look. Not horrendous. Store page. It is. Said. Oh, it's currently a stream on it at the moment from the developers. Okay, Windows recommended. 4-core 2.9 gigahertz or better, 16 gigs of RAM, GeForce RTX 2070 or Radeon RX 5700 or above. Not
Okay.
horrendous. Not horrendous. But it's.
How much is it? How much does it cost right now?
Well, I think it's come off sale. No, it was on sale. Oh no, it's still on sale. It's $15.59. It's got 20% off at the moment. Sale ends in 43 hours for anybody who's watching at the moment. And it was released. Oh no, it was released last year. September 21. So it's about a year old, or just over a year old.
So I was thinking, I'd never seen it before. So I was just like, oh, this must be one of the new releases. There must be like a we're now out sale kind of thing. And
no, it's a bit. It's one of those games that I've heard I've heard a couple of people talk to me about it, and I've heard on those channels what they've talked about it. So it's probably made it seem like it's been around longer than it has.
Sure.
But yeah, it's really cool. It's got it's such fun. I imagine almost immediately after I finish this podcast, I'll probably reload it up again. I did feel I did feel I was going to crash my PC earlier because before I came on here, I'd like laid off. I wanted to do some terraforming, so I'd laid off a whole area of loads of TNT. And when you lay TNT down, basically when one goes off, if there's any adjacent to it, it sets that off as well. And so it's okay if just got a couple so forth, but I had quite like a whole layer of a mountain covered in, and I set it all off, and it just like started to grind to a halt. I had to do the logic of, oh right, I need to set this one off, that one off, this one off, different one, as it sort of gradually worked its way down. I've made it chug, not made it crash, but I was a little bit worried about doing that.
Well, I've just checked, and it says that it is playable on Steam Deck. So if you really wanted to, you could get yourself a cheap little Steam Deck and lay in bed.
Yeah, I'm not sure how well it works on Steam Deck because it does require a lot of mouse clicking. So not sure how well that would work on Steam Deck, but it might be alright. I'm not having used a Steam Deck. I can't comment on how well like strategy games would work.
Well, if I pick it up, I'll give it a go. But I mean, I played City Skylines on a Steam machine with a Steam pad, and that was alright.
Oh, cool. Yeah. So I've not used, so I won't know how it will work. But no, it is. Oh yeah, I'm slightly obsessed with it. It's just like it's got that little bit of like, oh, I'm just going to do this little project, and if you give yourself a little project to do, I'm going to build a dam. I'm going to build this area here. I'm going to build this area here. So I'm at a stage now where I'm sort of there's two like factions of beavers. So I can't remember the name of the faction I've got, but mine are sort of what I call sort of more nature happy beavers.
Right.
There's this one that's a bit more industrial. And interestingly, that I think they're going to you have to get an average beaver happiness of 15 to unlock him, which I'm nearly there. I'm not quite got enough to unlock him yet. But from what I see, they play completely differently because the amount of buildings in this, which I've got, which say unique to this faction, unique to this faction, unique to this faction, makes me think that those ones can play completely different.
Sure.
So I'm hoping that once I get unlocked, then I'll start another map with that group and just see how they play differently. But yeah, it is. I mean, honestly,
there has to be a game over requirement, right? Or is just as long as you've got a living beaver.
I would assume as long as you've got, I assume that's basically if all your beavers die, then it's game over. I'd assume.
Sure. And you can just go on and on and on forever and ever, like City Skylines or whatever.
Yeah.
As long as
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm now on cycle 39, and roughly speaking, I worked. So if you think of it, that's roughly like sort of 4 years in real sort of like time. The beavers, they grow up, they grow up, they die. They grow. They seem to age by 1 day every day. They seem to, they're not measured in days.
Okay.
I think they get about. I think the oldest people I've seen is about 59. So they seem to last about 2 days, which means I've had hundreds of generations. I've probably had dozens and dozens of generations of beavers live through Nictopia 6.
It's
I've had
very
quite a
rare that
few-
people live through Nictopia at all.
Many have died a very happy life, had a happy life. Unless in the Nile district, they've had a happy life, and they've gone through. I did feel guilty. I went to the Nile district. I sent some beavers out. I went and clicked on them. It was only 7 days old. It's like, oh fuck,
Mate,
what
what are you doing?
He's classed as an adult at that point, according to the game. So,
I don't know.
he's sacrificing himself for the greater good.
For the greater good.
The greater good of beavers. So
Interesting.
So I've still got more projects in the pipeline. So I want to build a biofuel area, so I can cycle refining biofuel, which means I need to grow potatoes. So I'm gonna have like a heart. I'm trying to make sure data to that. I'm planning. I'm going to be. I've got my heat district. I'm leveling up a mountain in the heating district to give me more space to work on. I'm going to do. I'm going to grow some other sort of trees on there, so I'll increase my lumber production over there because that's really what I need now. And then obviously my next sort of project, and I only start looking at going toward. I might set Mel District up with producing golems because I imagine golems are going to need a lot of Mel.
Yeah.
Interesting. So in the game at the moment, well, until the golem update, you had dynamite, which is you could destroy terrain. The golem that you can now place terrain. So you can actually put blocks in place. That is something they've only just added.
Okay.
So I'm going to build. I need to build. I need to build new. I'm also going to build another river in. So I'm going to. So basically, there's like the water comes through like up from top of the mountain, down the mountain to like a valley, which is where the dam is, and then goes into my little river, and then goes sort of out to like this big open lake, and then out the map. And once it goes out the map, it's all gone basically. I'm now putting a dam across that lake, so I can then redirect some of the water down into Power District, which I also send towards Mel District. So I'm hoping to get that sort of top area greened up, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And Mel District will actually have some green life for that, more green life than it has at the moment. They've lasted for years with no greenery, and they've already got a little bit from around their reservoir, and they're going to get a bit more.
Beautiful.
I'm also going to try and build a overspill off Mel District's little reservoir where currently it floods. I'm going to try and build like a overspill channel that goes off the map, and then I can set that up so basically that can't flood anymore because it'll just run off the map, which means I can leave the pump running and not have to worry about it. It becomes self-regulating at that point because it just floods itself off into the distance, and I don't have to worry about it anymore.
You'll just flood those beavers that are over there that you can't see.
If they're off the map, I don't worry about them.
Sod you guys.
Yeah. So that's again Stalin.
Then they pull a Gandhi on your ass and nuke you.
yeah. There's no even beaver nuking, unfortunately, in this game. So,
It's unfortunate.
But yeah, I 100%. If you like sort of like city strategy games, you're building all like sort of idea of building sort of colonies up. Yeah, grab Timberborn. It's on offer at the moment. In full price, only £20.
I think I might have to buy it for the wife because she loves that kind of game.
She would. I think you would really love this game. I think
she plays like. You remember when she played Kingdoms and Castles on the first Randner's 24 hours?
Yes.
She's
if she
still
likes that,
playing
she'll
it.
like this. She'll like this then. She'll love it. She'll enjoy Timberborn then.
I'll have to.
Very similar. I forgot. Now, so Kingdoms Castle. Yes, that's a very good reference point for Timberborn.
Also a beautiful game.
Have you had a look at it?
I've been flicking through. I was looking at it on the Steam Deck just to see. It looks pretty neat. It looks pretty fun.
It looks. It's very pretty. I mean, it's. And when you see like your city sort of building up, I mean, there's a bit. Have you seen the bit where the water comes through the wet and dry and how everything greens up?
No, so I haven't watched the video because I didn't want to.
Oh, it's on the Steam page.
Oh, okay.
You know they have their little gifs. It's like the second one down. They're little rectangular gifts.
Let's have a look.
Ace. And you'll see the water come through and it just browns everything up.
Similar to games you've played, Valheim and City Skylines, you can shove that firmly in you.
Yeah, Valheim I disagree with. City Skylines, it's similar but smaller scale.
I mean, it looks very pretty for what it is.
It is really pretty. It is really, really pretty. And so you've got golems now.
Wow, the way some of these screenshots have organised their stuff, that's... Damn.
Yeah, it's the verticality. I like the fact you can build things really, really high. Oh, I forgot about the gravity matches. You can one of the things you can get in your for your power. Obviously, you've got wind power. You can get gravity batteries. So it's usually just a massive weight that it wrenches up. But depending on how far it can fall down is how much power it can store. So you can have. So I've built a load of gravity batteries on the edge of a cliff. So they'll be able to store huge amounts of power, and then once they're tied to the network, they'll just charge themselves up when the excess power. Then the wind dies, they can just keep the whole network going for ages.
That's neat.
It is a really neat game. I'm intrigued to know what it was like when it first came out and how much this stuff has been added to it. But it's really, really good now. If anyone does buy it, my top tips if you're going to buy this game is expand very cautiously at first, and how much food and water you've got, you haven't got enough.
Sure.
Honestly, just more. They're my top tips for anyone who buys this game. But yeah, Timberborn, really good game.
Cool.
Definitely game of the year potential.
First, really? You've enjoyed it that... Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I'm going to be honest with you, man. I can't even remember what games we have played this year.
Oh, don't worry. You'll get the list before we get to that point of the game.
Cool. Thank God, because I was going to say I genuinely have no idea, and nothing really springs to mind. So it's interesting that you've gone and picked out like another, because early access tends to win us over quite a lot.
Yes. It's funny actually because I think every year we get to the state, we get towards Game of the Year, and what normally happens is this is all pulling back the curtain a little bit. I go through all our podcasts and make a list and send to us because I go, I don't remember, did I play that this year? I did play that this year. Wow, I thought it was last year. And I usually send it after me and Skazz, so we both have a list. And I was like, Skazz comes and says, "Did I really play that game this year?" Yes, you did, Skazz. Yes, you did.
Oh, really? I don't remember that at all. I
Yes,
didn't even remember owning that.
Here's the episode you played on. I did talk about it.
Oh my God, what did I think about
Yeah.
it?
So, an evening, Annie. Thanks for joining us. Lemon, yeah, Lenin, I think is what heading towards. No, that's it for me.
I got nothing, man.
All right then. Right.
Well, I am surprised actually.
What?
You didn't mention that Cyberpunk has got an anime out.
Oh, I've seen that. I haven't watched it though, so I can't comment on it.
So what we'll do is we'll have a Cyberpunk episode if you watch it.
Yeah. Well, I'll make sure I watch through it for the next next podcast.
It's gory. So if there's anyone in the house that doesn't like excess gore,
oh, that's their problem.
I'll fair that.
Yeah, because it's on Netflix, isn't it? I've heard people say good things about it, but I've not watched it yet.
Let's put it this way: people are now buying and playing Cyberpunk as if it's the greatest game on the planet, all because of that anime.
Oh, there you go. That seems to be the new thing now for game developers. Let's make an anime or an animation of some description of our game. Yeah,
It was solid.
But yeah, I will watch through it before the next podcast, and we can discuss it.
Cool.
I'll make sure I do that. I imagine it's a Netflix thing. So it's probably gonna be like 10 episodes, I'd imagine.
Yeah, 10 episodes. I think they might be
half
an hour
each.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds like Netflix to a normal Netflix length. Yeah, I'll make sure I watch through that before next podcast, guys.
Cool.
Because there's actually an update on Cyberpunk the game as well to tie.
Yeah, 1.6. Well, they just named it Edge Runners. It's not a direct tie-in, but I think they have opened up like some flats are now in it that represent where the characters lived, and there's some new guns in the game, but and a new jacket in that I think as well.
Yeah. Yeah, not very much. I want to know what. There's nothing come through sort of story-wise, has there, for the DLC for that? I'm
Oh no,
surprised.
they have. They've said that Keanu Reeves is coming back to do Johnny Silverhand.
Oh, cool.
It's taking place in 2030, 20 something. I don't know, 2040 odd or whatever. Sometime before Johnny gets
But
Makoshi'd.
yeah, sometime before he gets a very big sunburn,
Yeah.
and then yeah. Right. Oh yeah. I'll make sure I watch it for the next podcast, guys. We discuss it then.
Cool.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for watching. I've been the Suffolk Cram.
Skazz is.
You can join us on our next podcast on the 8th October 2022 or 21:30 plus 1 GMT. You can check out our game nights. This week will be on Tuesday 27th September at 20:30 GMT plus 1. You can see my Twitch channel at twitch.tv/thesuffolkram.
And I'll be at twitch.tv/Skazzius, SK4ZZI0US.
So we look forward to it. So you check out our website, rednerds.co.uk. Also, you've got us on YouTube and got us on Twitch. So we look forward to seeing you in a future episode.
Cool. Take it easy, guys.
So, thank you. Bye.